Hey, everybody, welcome to another episode of the Geek and Tech podcast. This is episode 134. I'm Ramon Mejia.
I'm
And this
Edgardo
guy is
Acosta. That's
Edgar
me.
Acosta. Yeah, every single podcast we bring you the roundup of the week's best geek and tech news. We discuss that news and, of course, anything else we happen to be interested in this week. And this week we're going to be talking about.
The Rocket Man. Wait a minute. Which Rocket Man?
We'll figure it out in the show.
All
but yeah.
right. Let's see. Rocket Man, a life-size Gundam, too many reboots, movie trailer showdown, and much more.
Yep. Of course, we begin our show, though, with geek news. Wrong button. But it still works. You know what I mean?
I dig it.
Yeah, that's the other podcast. I totally forgot which button to press. Yep. So first story in geek news is going to be SpaceX CEO Elon Musk. See, this is what I meant. Like we have doubled up on things. It's just kind of interesting to watch in the stream. Elon Musk has unveiled revised plans to travel to the moon and Mars at a space industry conference this week, but he ended his talk with a pretty incredible promise. Basically, rocket travel, like space, like full on spaceman rocket travel, like people getting into rockets and traveling around the world within like 24 minutes from like anywhere in the world to anywhere else. And so that was Elon Musk's additional promise for basically the everyday person. Like he basically plans, not only is he going to have us colonize Mars, but he's also going to implement rocket travel the same way you currently do like plane travel. Is this something you would do? Would you jump in a rocket to like go from here to Beijing in like half an hour?
Within the world?
Yeah.
Not really, to be honest. Because with me, when it comes to travel, I like to enjoy the trip as much as I would like to just be there.
But
in a second.
Do you want to enjoy like a 17-hour flight? That's what it currently is to like go from like here to like Beijing, I think.
Yeah, 17 hours. Okay.
Yeah.
And when you put it in now, right? Yeah, I'll take the rocket.
Yeah.
Because with me, like road trips, I like actually scenic routes and all that kind of stuff. But 17 hours on a plane, which I always hear people like I've had friends that work in certain industries where they had to travel from state to state, yes, but when they had to go international, and I hear about the jet lag and all that stuff, I'm like, yeah, I think the rocket would be, as long as it's not through Southwest, because from what I'm hearing,
they don't like big people,
exactly,
and other issues.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's right. I wouldn't mind doing it. Apparently, Elon Musk is saying it would cost the same as like a regular plane ticket. So even though it wouldn't be cheap, it would apparently be the same price, which is weird to me. But
the fuel, you think it costs more? Don't
well,
get me
the
wrong.
Current airlines kind of have a monopoly on flight travel. Like they're essentially 3 or airlines, and they get to decide what they're going to price it at. And so there's not a lot of competition to force prices down.
I thought it was the whole concept of like bullet trains and all that stuff. That
well, it's also the fact that all those rockets are reusable in like the Elon Musk system, and so the cost of like actually firing them apparently is a lot less.
The other thing that I was hearing on the NPR radio kind of stuff, Elon Musk is trying to really get into trying to colonize Mars and try to get it all.
It's the same. There. It's supposed to be the same tech, the same rocket tech between, us and like traveling to Mars and traveling around Earth. It's supposed to be the same tech. Like the idea of like reusing your rockets instead of them being expensive one-offs is what he's kind of banking on to make this affordable for everybody.
I give it a whirl.
Yeah, assuming it's safe and it works, I would do it. I mean, I recently traveled to Atlanta and it was kind of a pain in the butt. It was like,
were you driving or were you the passenger?
No, it was a flight, but it was still like 6 hours or 7 hours.
Really?
Yeah,
wow.
With like that includes like an hour and a half like layover in like somewhere in the middle of the country, like whether it's Texas or somewhere else.
Wow.
And that's just the way it is currently for travel on the airlines because limited number of flights and they all have to coordinate.
Just get a good at least movie on the way.
Nope, no movies. It was economy class. No, it's just me and my phone reading stuff.
Nope, bag of peanuts, nothing.
They gave you like some cookies and free soda. That was kind of it. I mean, yeah. Okay. Next story is going to be Diver Tokyo.
Yeah. This weekend, the 1-to-1 scale unicorn Gundam was officially unveiled. This weekend, the one-on-one scale Unicorn Gundam was officially unveiled in Tokyo, and it looks fantastic. The 64.6-foot statue replaced a previous giant Gundam that went up in 2012 and came down this past March. I wonder where it got relocated.
I think someone just bought it.
Oh, I've seen this awesome one that was like done in an airport though. That was an actually transforming one. I think it was more of a Robotech
So
instead
this
of a
is,
Gundam.
I mean, this is transforming. This one doesn't like transform fully, but like parts of it move, and like we'll be able to hear this, but the people on the
Yeah,
feed can't.
but yeah, wow, amazing. The only part that I kind of wish it was pilotable and actually
That would
free
be really
moving
cool. Yeah,
around. That would have just like
that would throw all those other mech battle things out the
oh
window.
totally like remember that whole mech thing between the Japan and the U.S. Look what we got.
Yeah, this would be it.
Like,
this is from like Gundam Unicorn, which is a particular series. But it's super pretty. And the other one they had was just like a slightly different model.
I'm surprised it doesn't have like more color to
and
it.
I don't think these are the colors from the anime. It
Really?
basically goes, it's a unicorn, like a white unicorn. That's the theme of it specifically. And then it transforms into like this like extra power mode. And that's when it does the colors and the things transform on
the
it. So,
face.
yeah.
Okay. I was wondering what's going on with it. No, it looks cool. It's
I know
I just wish it was more, free range robot,
like it actually moved around. That would be cool.
Yeah.
I don't think that's in the realm of like technical stuff, and also liability of like a hotel with people walking around. You know what I mean?
Well, obviously precautions and all that
Yeah.
as long as it doesn't topple over.
But still, even this large like mechanical
Mhm.
Gundam figure is a technical challenge. Like,
Oh,
to get all those parts to move correctly, that's a pretty good feat of engineering.
moving's one thing. The scale of it, obviously has to be reinforced and planted down because, like I said, as much as I would love to see it just to walk around and
Yeah.
whatnot, I can't afford to crush people.
That would be the liability issue, like crushing some small child who was just trying to pet it. Yeah, that wouldn't be great on the press.
Yeah, but any other giant robots that you would love to see kind of walkabouts if you can?
I would love to see like a Robotech Gundam fight, if that's what you're referring to.
No,
Sort of.
like I love the concept. The concept wise, like Universal Studios, they got this obviously these guys on stilts dressed up as Transformers,
Mhm.
but I love to see an actual one transform and walkabouts and whatnot. They got pretty close, but not perfected. The one actual drivable, transformable vehicle, it looks very much like a GoBot. Like it just kind of like the back part, I guess, is the moving mechanism that allows you to drive, but the front is the part just kind of pulls up. Arms pop out for the doors, pop back in, pop back down. That's it. That's as far as it goes.
Yeah,
so.
no, like I said, it's surprisingly difficult to get a robot to walk correctly. Like you've seen plenty of fail videos, and just like that's the experimental stage right now.
Yeah.
So that's actually happening with real robotic technology, and so for somebody doing it on a massive scale, it seems an unreasonable expectation. Okay. Next story. This one I think you enjoyed. You enjoyed the series. I'll let you read it.
Oh, yes. If you have not seen it, you've been living under a rock. But Rockstar Games recently released a trailer for Red Dead Redemption 2 and finally gave a release date for the game for spring 2018. It's about 7 years since the last one, but what's another year?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we'll play the trailer for you guys without the sound for the audience, unfortunately.
Yeah. The only thing that I heard about it from at least reviews of other people, it's not John Marston from the original one. It's Morgan, I think, or something Marshall, or no,
right?
Arthur Morgan. There you go. There's the name. So looks cool visually. Looks awesome. From what I don't know from what you remember from past trailers before, it was supposed to be like a kind of like the Magnificent Seven. So I'm guessing multiplayer kind of action.
Well, I'd hope they had
play on it.
multiplayer at this point. I mean, it's well enough into like these stages of development.
Yeah. No, but it graphically looks good. I'm hearing there's for you lucky PS4 people, you're gonna get some bonus features on there. I think you guys gonna get the first dibs to it.
I think everybody's gonna get their own individual like small bonus feature, like Xbox is gonna have
exclusive
something,
skins or something like that,
or a gun or something that
That's
does
true.
not overpowered, or maybe like a particular horse.
The DLC,
Like it's gonna be a green and like orange horse for the Xbox and like a black and blue one for the PS4.
Now, have you played Red Dead Redemption at all?
No, I never played the first one. It's open world. I'm gonna assume it's similar to Witcher.
Kind of. Okay. Have you played
as far as like the open worldness?
Grand Theft Auto?
Yeah, I didn't like it. I mean, it was okay.
Okay, it's Grand Theft Auto Cowboy
With
Times.
horses, yeah.
That's pretty much since it is made by Rockstar. It's very fun.
Mhm.
Of course, the when the first one came out, it was very dated. But you get into it. You get into it. You start kind of like developing a connection to the character. The worst part of the game was a very lackluster ending to the story. It was like, really? This whole awesome game, awesome everything, and you're gonna end it like that?
Right.
No spoilers, but yeah, very lackluster. So, but I can't wait for it to come out. I want to see what else abilities they're gonna have you do. It looks like now you could explore from the video like swamp areas because it
Mm.
looked like he was trying to kill a gator or a gator was trying to kill something. So hopefully we'll see some more to it.
New areas, hopefully, and like I said, I'm hoping it's as good as you want it to be, because that's always the concern with any long running series is that, oh, this game is not going to be what I want it is, and I hope that's not the case.
There's a couple other games that are coming out that I'm looking forward to. Real quick, I'm hearing. I don't know if you heard the rumor mill about the South Park Fractured Butthole. That the difficulty gets increased by the darker skin your character is.
I I don't think that's what they're going to do. I've
That was the
heard
rumor. I'm
no,
going by
I've
rumor.
heard that the gameplay is the same, like
Uh-huh.
all the events are the same. The way people treat your character is different if you're black or if you're brown.
Like real life.
Yeah, and that's the change in social difficulty. Like I think there are different levels of like as a computer programmer, basically you can decide what characteristics trigger certain events. And so
Mhm,
basically by being not the main characters, even like brown and black, you get different dialogue choices. You might get different
mhm.
dialogue responses from other characters. I think that's what they're doing, and it's kind of a joke. But I don't think we're actually going to make it more difficult. That would be cool if they did. That would be
That'd be interesting. Yes,
very interesting social commentary. But yeah,
yeah, yeah. We'll see when it actually comes out. If I pick it up, I'll definitely let you know on it.
yeah. Okay. Next story. The beginning of a lot of remakes here. We're going to begin with X. No, I'm sorry, Men in Black 2. Well, not 2, but this would be. I don't know which one is this. Like not 3, it's 4. I think.
Technically
I
4
think we Men in Black 4. They're doing not a reboot, but a almost side adventure.
crossover.
Yeah, Will Smith and Tommy Lee Jones apparently are not going to be in the latest big screen jump. They're not going to do the crossover after all, but they are going to do a kind of a spin-off film. Sony is officially explaining it as Man in Black in the universe spin-off series without the original stars. Apparently, there's still be men in suits, aliens, etc. It's still in development. It's being developed by Sony's Pictures with Iron Man and Transformers directors and screenwriters, I should say, Matt Holloway and Art Markham. So there you go. So that's one of those remakes that they're kind of doing. Not remakes, but like new movies in the franchise
Yeah,
that we're going to be talking about.
yeah.
And
Because I thought the crossover was
that
supposed
was
to
an
be.
idea. It's kind of an out of the way idea because then you have to merge two different kind of standalone universes. Like it's much easier just to do a different film in the same Men in Black universe because there are
Yeah,
plenty of agents. So why not do the individual stories? You
true.
know. So what do you? So you, would you be interested in watching this?
Honestly, I like the Men in Black series. It kind of took a little turn a little bit towards the end because I like Tommy Lee Jones, especially when it came to the whole time travel part.
Right,
And they got I don't know what's the name of the actor, but they got the younger Tommy
Tommy Lee
Lee on
Jones.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was an industry pool. I like to hit they hit the little heartstrings when they got the little bit of the backstory of H and J. So hit miss, but I
So
liked
would
it.
you watch it?
Oh yeah,
Okay, so there you go.
I'll give it a watch.
We'll watch it. I mean, mostly because it's why not? This next one, maybe I don't. I'm not sure I would watch honestly.
Yeah, I watched this as a kid, but for the people that haven't seen it, Lionsgate and the Henson Company are rebooting the 1986 adventure movie Flight of Navigator. And have hired Lucifer showrunner Henderson, to write the script. The original film, directed by Randall Kleiser, starred Joey Kramer as a 12-year-old boy who falls into a ravine and is knocked unconscious when waking up through the woods in 1978. He regains consciousness in 1986 without having aged, and with no memories of the past 8 years, he eventually discovers that he was abducted by an alien spaceship.
I always thought the time travel aspect of it was interesting. The alien aspect creeped me the hell out as a kid.
Which part?
Um, that essentially some alien just abducted this kid, and they took his memories. That was always really weird and creepy to me, especially this like giant eyeball robot up in the corner. Like that just seems like something is going to alien probe you.
My thing was like him just waking up. You think, especially if they're going that whole alien route, he'd be like in one of those tubes full of ooze with pipes and whatever connected to him, and of course the whole probing thing.
Why make it scarier? I mean, so
But it was a little interesting for its time. The other like kind of old sci-fi movie that freaked me out a little bit. You ever watch the movie called Mac and Me?
yeah, I've seen it.
Yeah, the big eyeball thing when they do that whistling and the hand gesture
Yeah,
up on top.
very creepy looking
Yeah,
alien.
that one creeped me out. But this one I actually liked it. It was cool because the spaceship itself was almost semi
Oh,
transformer,
uh,
and once the character adopted the personality of like Pee Wee Herman, because I thought it was voiced by Pee Wee Herman. Because first it had it was just a very generic like hello, I forget what the kid's name was, like David. Hey David, blah blah blah. But then he's like, can you not be nerdy and geeky or whatever? So then he started doing research on media and everything, and he started uh, like tuning into MTV or something, and started acting like Pee Wee Herman for some reason.
yep. Yeah, it's a very weird film. So I'm surprised they're making this one again. I don't know that he did amazing the first time around. Quick shout out to Amy Acosta saying hello on the live stream. So apparently we can see these things pop up. I guess as long as there aren't too many of them. So there you go.
But I honestly, live action, I don't know. I could see it as a cartoon series or something thrown to Netflix because I don't know any
Like a
network
straight Netflix makes more sense than like a
a
movie, right?
theatrical
Yeah.
release. Yeah,
Would you watch it again though in the theater as a remake? Yeah,
I gotta
that
see.
face alone says like, oh, I'll wait for the
Honestly,
reviews.
if they're doing it right now before these kids get too old, I wouldn't doubt them casting one of those Stranger Things kids.
Maybe yeah. I mean, they're already casting him in other things like it, and
Yeah,
that's funny stuff.
got to get them while they're young.
Okay, next reboot. This one is going to be for Coming to America. If you've ever seen that, I believe it's on Netflix now. With Eddie Murphy, Paramount is looking to produce not a reboot but a sequel to Coming to America. Probably we call it Coming to America 2, maybe TOO. Who knows? It's a 1988 comedy starring Eddie Murphy as Prince Akeem, who flees to America from his African nation of Zumanda to escape an arranged marriage and find true love. The sequel is lined with Jonathan Levine to direct, with Blackish creator Kenya Barris handling the script. And even though Eddie Murphy has not signed another project yet, THR reports that the actors is in the script for reprisals role as Prince Akeem, probably King Akeem by this point.
Very much. Quick shout out to Matthew. Hey, Matthew. Thanks for just having you logged on. Awesome work. I can't wait to hear more of your stuff. I'll plug it in if you want me
What's
to.
Matt doing?
Huh?
What's Matthew doing?
Unplug it.
I'm
He's actually
curious.
working some great storylines on this character named, if I'm pronouncing it correctly, Throck. It's very kind of like
For comic novel, what?
a little bit of everything from at least what it's starting out. He just gave me a really. I'm not going to give too much of the details on it, but a little bit of draft, and a little bit of that character development on some of the stuff. I've been asking for some more, but you can't rush genius. So take your time, sir. Take your time.
Yeah, Matt, if
Um,
you want to just comment in the chat room what exactly you're working on this project, if it's not too big of a secret, man,
yeah,
more than happy to talk about it at some point or just like talk about it because
yeah. Get some exposure. Get
I'm
some.
I'm a writer apparently.
Yeah.
A few people,
Published.
yeah, self-published on Amazon, so man, so I kind of get the vibe of like self-publishing things.
Mhm.
Like I said, so if you want to talk about it on the air, or even just let us know like a little
Yeah.
summary in the chat log, so people can be interested in it. It's always get a great buzz. Um, so that's what
Yeah.
it is. But
Yeah.
yeah, would you watch this movie?
Okay, the remake. I gotta
Yeah,
see what the storyline because I think it's gonna kind of semi-repeat. Like I'm obviously he's gonna have a kid because he's obviously old enough, and whatnot, and it's gonna be more modern day if he goes back to New York because unless they really want to go a weird route and go to, I think it would feel too much like a Beverly Hills Cop theme if they try to go to L.A. So I don't know what's the next major city in not California, in the United States. What are they going to Washington or Miami?
no, because I think they went to Chicago last time, didn't they?
Was it Chicago? Or was it New York?
I wanted to say it was. They went to a black community specifically, so I'm assuming that it was like Chicago.
Compton, no.
No, I think that's where they went. I don't recall. I don't remember it being as like big city as like New York necessarily. I could be totally mistaken. Like
Yeah,
they went
it's been
to like
forever
Harlem or
since I've
something.
seen it.
Um, but if not, then they could go to they could go to Chicago or something.
I would just love to see Eddie Murphy and Arsenio Hall
I would love to see him
reunite
like being
again.
like Kersey again. 'Cause for so long a lot of the recent roles that he's done have been very like super family friendly, like not cursing, not like as outrageous as he was in like his earlier work.
Same thing with Ice Cube.
I would be interested to see him go back to that and see if he can still
I would
be as racy.
I would love to see Eddie Murphy do a stand up comedy performance at all ever.
I think
You know,
he's okay. That is true. I don't think he's done anything in a while.
yeah.
Okay, next reboot, Hocus Pocus. Apparently, a live action Disney film is going to be redone. It's in the works currently. Rumors of a sequel to the film have been bubbling up for years, and it seems like the original Hocus Pocus cast is not going to be a part of it. But original Hocus writer is Mike Harris. And apparently, this is a legitimate sequel, and Amy Acosta is apparently going crazy
The
over this
hearts and
news.
the likes and
Yeah.
yes,
I
of
think she's
course.
one of the two people currently watching on the
No,
live stream, and
don't
she's
don't get me wrong. Hocus Pocus is a great franchise. It's one of those single movies that you surprise, and it wasn't bigger than it actually is.
it was really it's big on like re-release on home video and on like on Netflix now.
Almost
But
like a
like
cult following.
yeah, no, because it's a Halloween becomes like a Halloween tradition for a lot of the people who grew up with it, like on the
Oh
Disney
yeah,
Channel reruns. And so now they're grown-ups and they're introducing to their kids, and it still holds up as far as like being a family-friendly, mildly scary, but definitely Halloween-oriented film.
my thing is, I knew who Bette Miller was. I barely knew who the other girls were. I didn't
I'm
think
like,
that was Sarah Jessica Parker for the longest time because actually had a thing for her. I'm like, who's the blonde?
whoa,
But then I noticed, then I watched Sex in the City. I'm like, that's her.
yep. So there
So
you go. We got
something
Sex
about
in the City, and then we have Sister Act.
Sister Act,
Yeah.
and of course, what's it called? Beaches.
She's among a number of other things.
Oh, she's on.
Singer, actress,
Oh, she's
theater.
she's triple
She's
threat.
yeah,
She's
but
done it
Miller
all.
is the most famous of them all.
I love seeing a lot of fans do their tributes and parodies of them. Of all the characters, it's always a very popular costume, not much exposed. And just recently, if not, I think it was last year, Disney World actually brought them back as a live stage performance thing for, of course, for Halloween time. So I'd love to see them. Love to see what they would go with it, but it's kind of a shame that they won't bring back the original three.
Yep, that is definitely unfortunate. Let's see if I can adjust this so it looks a little bit better here. I don't know if that's going to matter at all. Okay, so next one is going to be a reboot of the Kung Fu series is going to be a possibility as well. Fox is teaming up with Arrow, Flash, and Supergirl producer Greg Berlanti to develop a sequel to the classic 1970 series Kung Fu. Not just Kung Fu Legendary Adventures or The Legend Continues, which was the actual sequel to that show. But the original show starred David Carradine. However, the new series will focus on a female lead. Yes, that's correct.
Because David Carradine's
The show description is going to be, it's hard to bring them back, is going to be the new Kung Fu follows the adventures of Lucy Chang, a Buddhist monk and Kung Fu master who travels through 1950s America armed only with her spiritual training and her martial arts skills as she searches for the man who stole her child years before. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Instead of looking for her brother, she's looking for her stolen child. It seems like a weird thing to do in the 50s. When she teams up with J.T. Cullen, a charming Korean War veteran, with his own secrets, the two form an unlikely alliance that allows Lucy to continue her search while also coming to the aid of people in need. Of course, using kung fu, and so that's the kind of the premise of.
So I'm guessing JT is either a white guy just because of the little description. Unless I want to go for a cultural whatever, then they'll make him a black guy.
That those are all definite, distinct possibilities. I don't know what they're going to be doing. As far as like actual storylines, this is kind of a weird TV reboot because I don't know that kung fu films or kung fu television is as exciting as it was originally, like in the 70s.
70s and 80s martial arts.
Then it was awesome. It was new, and that's why. If you go back and look at kung fu, the action is okay, but compared to any martial arts film since, I'm like, oh, these are better. And I'm like, okay, I'll give it a shot based on the name alone and the fact that Greg Berlanti is involved.
The closest thing I think that the current version of anything that's like semi martial arts related, I would probably say Badlands. Badlands would be the closest thing that's like a martial arts ish kung fu related kind of thing. Because I did watch The Legend Continues. I never watched the original kung fu series. with David Carradine, unless there was like flashbacks in,
Right.
in the whole concept. And if I'm right, I think it was actually developed, if not created, with Bruce Lee at the time.
Yeah, that's the part about Kung Fu that I was always kind of annoyed with, is that Bruce Lee was originally going to be the guy.
Let's get a white
Yeah, get a white guy, and that's what it
guy,
came
an
down to.
Asian guy.
Which is like, I don't think they're going to do that now, but you don't really know. You never know
Yeah.
if it's going to be a white girl.
Yeah. I would check it out just to see once again with the way things like anything that gets on network television is like it's difficult unless you know for a fact it's going to be a hit because they so
Well,
many pilots have tanked.
it's just that's the dice you roll and being
Once again,
people's money's
Netflix, Hulu, Amazon, you got options.
right. Definitely so. Okay. Next story. This one's yours.
Right. Here's some photos of the Runaways from I think it's the Freeform television.
Sure. Why not?
That's coming. Oh no, it's actually coming up on Hulu,
Hulu.
series. Yeah, here we go. They focus on 6 young teenage heroes in the story. Those heroes include Area Bear from New Girl and One Day at a Time as Gert Yorks. So pretty much, let's see.
Yeah, we're just looking at photos. We don't actually know who any of these people are. I've never seen any of these shows. New Girl. I've seen New Girl about like One Day at a Time. The Affair, Teen Wolf, Casuals, Faking It Up. None of those shows are designed for me. A 35-year-old, middle-aged husband, male Hispanic guy. They're for teeny boppers. I mean, that's who they're geared for. So
Teeny boppers and the
these are the guys
that want to crank
yeah.
it to. You know.
So these are some of the people. These are the actual snapshots from the television show with the characters there.
Pretty kids, pretty much pretty kids.
Pretty kids doing stuff. And so like some of their characters actually look like the comics, and some are modified.
Looks like a younger version, like a teenage version of the heroes.
Sort of. Yeah. Except remember the plot line of this one is that these are all kids as supervillains, and they rebel against their parents by becoming superheroes. Which is, I'm like, oh great, you all live rich family lives, but you're rebelling against your super villain parents, and so these are all their villain parents.
I hate you, Dad. You should take over the world. I want to be a minion.
Yeah,
I want to be my own identity.
So they're all very successful in their own way. And I remember this guy from Buffy.
Oh yes,
yeah. That's the only thing I remember him from. Everyone else, I'm like, nope. Don't know anything.
Isn't that the chick
remember this
from
guy right
Pitch
here?
Perfect?
This guy right here, I think I know. I've seen him before once or twice.
With the middle blonde, she's not the chick from Pitch Perfect.
This one or this one?
No.
This one? No.
Yeah.
She's in her mid-30s, like late 30s maybe.
Generic.
Not the same lady. Yep. All those white people, blondes.
They all
yeah. There you go, folks. It goes both ways.
Yeah.
Okay, but do these pictures make you look interested, or make you interested in this Hulu production?
I'm not seeing any powers in action, so it's not one of those poses where you see added on.
That's what I'm waiting for, Jim.
Things floating or whatever.
Like they're all good-looking kids, and that's all you can really say from these pictures. Some of them do look like their characters, and that's fine. But I'm like, at the same point, I'm like, it doesn't make me necessarily that interested in the film.
No.
I will watch the first episodes, just like we watched what's it called, The Inhumans, which just came out. He meant to watch it. I happened to grab it online, but not amazing. Like the special effects are really cool, but I watched it because like, okay, I'll give it a shot. I would do the same with this. If you've seen the trailers, you've seen the first half of that movie of that because it's a 1.5 hour premiere, 2 hours if you're watching more commercials, and that first hour is the trailers. They tell you everything about it, basically, the takeover, whatever. And then the second half is like, them basically floundering around. Like there's this, like a small thing. It's like, they sent an assassin after Medusa, and she kills her. But then she comes back, the assassin, because she has healing power, which they don't tell you about. So it's like, that would have been nice to know in advance.
Yeah.
Would have like not. I'm sure. Like, why doesn't the queen know one of her subjects has that power? I don't know. It's not explained. And the movie. It's just huge plot holes.
Spoiler for me. I don't know if that was like my imagination. I don't know if it was a comic or a trailer or something. Does Medusa get her head shaved?
She does.
Okay.
And I don't remember isn't her hair supposed to be like as strong as steel or something?
And it's all like multiple and ridiculously long.
Yeah,
and all that stuff. So.
And now you can kind of see why they didn't put a lot of money into the special effects or wigs for her hair, because They were planning to cut it
Like,
off.
fuck that.
Yeah.
We're gonna save some money and just shave the bitch.
And all he does is like he literally takes like a regular pair of clippers.
Regular pair of clippers, just
It's not like a super energized, sci-fi looking pair of clippers. It's just clippers and go bzzz. And that got my wife mad, just cutting her hair off. She's like, "That guy's a jerk."
Yeah. Jokes on her or him. He didn't get all of it. Whoa, right
she does control all of her hair.
Or she's French.
Yeah, those would have been some great extra powers, like just
pit hair,
yeah,
hair, just everywhere.
And again, the other thing that bothered me about the first episode is like, aren't these supposed to like the most powerful of the humans? Why are they not kicking the ass like the one Inhuman who's regular human? Yeah. Like the brothers are regular human dude, and the other guys have guns, and that's like, this seems off and it doesn't make sense. But I guess it is active for people. But yeah, not getting great reviews online out there. So and they're already hoping the cast and producer, of course, hoping for a second season. I'm like, I'm not gonna watch the series at all. I'm like, I'd rather watch Rick and Morty tonight and see their last episode than anything like this. Like this kind of sucked.
My thing was having hopes for it, especially when watching Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., thinking, oh, they're going to introduce the Inhumans. They're going to go to the moon. They're going to do this. They're going to do that. And no.
I don't know if they're ever going to do a crossover, but they do mention the fact that Inhumans are becoming more prevalent on Earth because of the Terrigen mist being released into like the water supply and stuff. So they are referring to like some of the events of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but that's all they're really doing at this point. So, okay. So
I would say don't expect them to be in the
and most of the power stuff. One of the things my wife was like, why doesn't that guy talk? Like it makes it really awkward watching him just like raise his eyebrows and be like,
I wonder if obviously if he slightly voice, will shatter a city if passes gas or something.
I don't know if that counts as the vibration from his throat though. Right? Well, I mean, isn't his power supposed to be like throat based or something? Yeah, like it's something from his voice. So I don't know if passing it the other direction counts. That would be a nice, surprise attack.
Yeah, or if he sneezes.
Yeah, and that's the extent of his power showing is like him kind of accidentally making a sound, was getting beat by the cops and blowing that car over.
Yeah, you get a bad burrito and just.
Yeah, it's one of those things like it seems like an amazing power, except he could never ever use it or talk, and so that kind of limits his usefulness to being pretty.
It's a strong silent.
I mean, he can't even. When he signs, his wife Medusa is the one translating, and so all the other scenes where they're separated, which is like the entire second half of that.
Caps, no nothing.
The entire second half of that episode is him by himself trying to find his way around Honolulu, and
so Hawaii?
Yeah, that's where everybody's dropped off. I'm like, if you're going to, try to justify the cost of a production home, why not? I get it.
On location.
Yeah, they apparently have some pretty good, some filming, kickbacks or like lower taxes or whatever. So I'm like, I get it. That's cool. Why not? But that's where they're all transported by Lockshaw to Hawaii.
If he had like a dry erase board or a chalkboard,
that would have made more sense. Like seriously, there's some huge plot issues with this story. So there you go. Okay, next story. Channing Tatum's Gambit film has kind of had a rocky start. It's lost in directors, the script's going through things, and it's still in development hell, basically. But according to Splash Page, they have details about the current description of the film. It's supposed to be the Ocean's 11 of comic book films, basically. So I'll read you what they say that they have for the film. Remy LeBleu, Channing Tatum, is on trial in New Orleans. He's considered a huge security risk. We flash back to almost 25 years before. Actually, basically, Remy is originally part of the Thieves Guild in like the South, right? And so he kind of goes straight, comes back, he's arrested, but he's approached by Nathan Essex, aka Mr. Sinister, who offers him a ton of money to recover some stolen items from the Bordeaux clan, who the Thieves Guild used to belong to. And so he has to get a collection of humans together to go and try to steal it from like master thieves. And so that's essentially the essence of it. It's a huge plot, like huge heist film. And so there you go. So that's kind of what it is. Of course, there's going to be some background on who Gambit is, how he got his powers, and his training as a thief originally. That's going to be part of the plot as well. But that's kind of what it is. You can read it on the show notes, folks, if you want to read the entire thing. But seems interesting. I'm like, we haven't seen a superhero film meshed with a heist film yet.
Yeah, 'cause the thing with Gambit, remember when actually it was debuted? It was at San Diego Comic Con. They had like almost all the X Men universe characters, even Channing Tatum together, and Chris Hardwick was hosting, and they did like a group photo on it. Where I was like, "Yes, I got Gambit. Gambit's gonna be in it." And 1 year later, okay, they're still working on it. 2 years later, hey, Gambit, 3 years, still around.
Yeah, yeah. Like,
So
so they saying that it's going to be inspired by Deadpool and Logan, basically, and I guess they're going to try to go for that R rating. Like,
good
okay,
for them, I guess.
it doesn't quite make as much sense for Gambit as it does for Wolverine or Deadpool, but why not?
My thing is the only I'm not too much details into the Gambit story other than from watching the old animated series about the whole giving their tribute to the tides to the I think it was the essential no, the external or something like that, something like that. But it was the whole concept of the leagues of thieves and assassins. So it was really cool concept, and I wanted to learn more about it because he was supposed to be going to marry one girl, but then it didn't marry her. Then the brother. It was a really just a really good story, and you just wanted to know more and more about it. So hopefully they'll tap into it. And the whole course, the whole connection with New Orleans, great backdrop for her story.
Yeah, it's an interesting. Like I said, Gambit has a lot of story potential. I'm I don't know how much it's actually going to pull into the actual movie. So I'm
Yeah,
like, we'll have to wait and see.
love hearing they're actually working with
Yeah,
Sinister.
it's nice that it's not disappearing into the ether, which
You know,
is always what happens with some of these films. Okay, next story: Evil Batman, Good Joker. How many is
people.
you?
Right. So DC is giving us an Elseworlds,
Worlds. Yeah,
Elseworlds tale unlike anything we've seen before, on where they're the greatest villain. The Joker becomes a penitent hero trying to right the wrongs of his former life and absolves himself of his absolves himself from his crimes. But in a topsy-turvy world like this, where does that leave Batman? DC returned to the Elseworlds concept with their Nightwing, the New Order miniseries, and the new 7-part series Batman White Knight from writer artist Sean Murphy, best known for his work with Scott Snyder on American Vampire. He asked the question: what would happen if the Joker was cured, quote unquote, for of his insanity and tried to make amends? And if Joker is a hero, does that make Batman the villain?
yeah. And we basically grabbed like one of the pages that was given to Nerdist as an advance copy. Again, this doesn't come out until actually October. I might actually pick this up digitally, just to kind of see where it goes because it is a very interesting concept, and it's not main canon; it's parallel universe, essentially Batman. And it basically opens up with Batman in Arkham, and the Joker. I forget what his first name is. It's just his Napier. Is it Jake Napier?
Yeah, it
Well,
was Jack Napier.
Jack Napier. Okay, so Jack Napier as a good-looking businessman, by who Bruce Wayne might have been. And he's logical and sane, and he walks into to Arkham, and he says he needs Batman's help. And so part of this is going to be the story of like, him redeeming himself as the Joker, becoming cured of his crazy, making it with Harley Quinn, and kind of going together. Like the very first cover, I think, is like him and Harley Quinn looking normal, except that she has a red dress, and I think like a couple of like little black
Logo.
diamonds on the side of her dress, but it's like very subtle.
So is
Like,
she a psychologist again?
I don't know.
Hmm.
I mean, she looks pretty average. Like, she doesn't look crazy or like as like costume Harley Quinn. So she might be Dr. Harley Quinzel again.
Yeah, that was the whole concept of an alternative universe because they always thought. So did Batman create the villains, or did the villains create Batman?
Yeah, and
You
that's kind
know.
of the idea. I think that's part of what the storyline is that um, the Joker captures Batman because he's basically created all these supervillains through his actions or like his his him not really caring enough about the average citizen, like putting them in danger, chasing down these villains. Like
Hmm.
he's as dangerous as the villains he's chasing through his lack of precautions or like not taking care of people. Like that's the emphasis of the other panels that the artist had.
Yeah, my only question is, I would okay, I understand the Batman character to know about him and being locked up, but what's up with Bruce Wayne? What happened to his storyline? That he became the did the parents survive, or he just raise a bratty child and start get all dark and moody and become like
Yeah, it's all stuff to
emo.
see in the comic. So, like I said, maybe actually pick it up. It seems like an interesting story.
Totally.
Okay, last story is a little bit sadder for the world. Hugh Hefner has died. He's best known as the editor in chief of Playboy magazine, which he hasn't actually done in the last 2 years. He passed it on to his daughter. But he founded Playboy in 1953. He died on Wednesday of this week at his home in the Playboy Mansion, and at the age of 51. So that is, you know, well, it's always sadder for entrepreneurs like him. Like he helped shape men and kind of a sexual culture of the world at the time. So like he as the magazine came out very much during like the sexual revolution, like the 50s, 60s, 70s.
Yeah, the totally opening up opportunities for women and for men to openly talk about sex. Like, what's so bad about it? We do it, obviously, or we wouldn't be around. Our kids wouldn't be around if it wasn't for sex. I just find it kind of a little ironic that he died on Hump Day in his mansion. Hopefully, who knows, get
Yes.
somebody.
And now
Okay.
basically the guy who wanted to buy his mansion can go on and do it because I
Oh,
think that was part of the issue. Like he tried to sell the Playboy mansion to his next door
yeah.
neighbor, but he wanted to live there and
Until he
also
died.
not change anything
Until he
until
died.
he died. I'm like, and now that guy's probably like, oh, I should have bought it. I really didn't have to wait that long.
One of the rumors I heard that he was married technically,
Multiple
and
times, yeah.
multiple times, but the current wife is not getting squat.
Might be the case.
So
We don't know. And maybe she doesn't care. We can only hope that she married him for love.
no, now let's see. Let's get into a little personally. You ever surf through the pages of a Playboy yourself?
I don't think a Playboy. No, I think I've seen them online. And I'm sure I've seen pictures galore from Playboy online. But
You know,
yeah, I guess
Playboy
it's
shows and
very no, it's very. I mean, I remember. I think I saw. We didn't have cable growing up, so no Playboy shows. But I think I've seen
Playboy
clips of
channels,
Ralph Garman on like the Playboy channel from Australia or
this
something.
etc.
That was kind of it. Um, but yeah, like the culture itself was also very interesting. He tried to not only have the magazine, but then also the Playboy Club, which didn't pan out everywhere because it also runs as a business bar. At the same point, the sexual culture surpassed what he was doing at some point with the advent of the internet.
Oh
That
yeah,
kind of ruined the magazine
a
business,
little bit. Yeah,
especially the naked magazine business because the internet will do everything and anything and show you it all. This, by comparison, became relatively tame.
he gave it classy. It was almost like reading material you could read at a
It's
doctor's
classy by
office.
now standards. By the 50 standards, it was considered,
Like,
graphic
pubic
pornography.
hair, that kind
Yeah,
of stuff.
and it was also a fight for freedom of speech
Yeah,
in the courts. And so we can appreciate Mr. Hefner and Mr. Flynn for helping protect our rights to express ourselves even in this manner, which may not be considered socially acceptable within the context of their time frames.
well, I loved. I owned a couple magazines myself. I got exposed to them at a very young age. Didn't know about it. When you have friends, and depending on the type of friends that you have, you explore. You're like, oh, well, what's in this drawer right here? Like,
It's a
oh,
real
hello,
record.
exactly. Um, but he gave it class. I love
It's a big
I
credit.
I actually took the time to actually read the articles. It was actually good interviews with celebrities. The comic strip was hilarious. To me, it was like exposure to the adult mind of comics in a way, with sex related kind of stuff. Everything from like old pervy uh, gimmicks to like the young girl that's too dumb but still wants to get it on. My thing was interested is like the centerfolds is like that was to be the explanation of like you had a Playboy magazine once you were able to expand it and see your playmate of the month, and that's how a lot of certain female celebrities got their exposure.
Yep.
Was through Playboy, like Jenny
Pamela,
McCarthy,
Pamela
Pamela
Anderson.
Anderson. And yeah, they were my thing. I had a
You
thing.
showed up and Marilyn Monroe.
She was the first one, and that's what put him pretty much put him on the map. I think I had like my own little personal crush on Anna Nicole Smith. She before I don't know if she was drugged out or at the time, but she was hot. She was pretty much just like a thicker Marilyn Monroe. And she just like pulled it up and just like had me going. I was like, oh man, that's what it was almost like iconic to have a voluptuous bombshell of women. It had everything from like your thin girls, a variety of races and everything, but it always had that glamour.
Yes, there were a variety of different body types and women. I don't think there's a huge variety of far as body types go. Like, it never went into like plus size models or anything. Just
I
so
think
I'm like,
she's as big as things they got.
let's not get like too praising, giving too much credit to him, like he was pushing the envelope for women's rights or anything. It was semi-exploitive, and that's a part of the culture of the time period, which is it is what it is. I'm not judging at all.
I
Just
nothing that I
yeah,
was loved was like
but it
in
is
the
definitely exposed a wider audience to basically saying it's okay to talk about sex, and
oh yeah,
that I would agree with as far as like being a plus that came out of that particular magazine and that particular culture.
oh yeah. I always loved in Playmate at the month calendar that which really is a tear off that you could put on your wall if you wanted to be that guy. But they always had little like personal bio things like Playmate of the month, like with their likes,
Oh yeah,
dislikes, dreams, ambitions, and all that. Well, while I'm showing my titties, I'd like to promote world peace and become a doctor and all that.
so a better version of Miss Universe.
Pretty
Yeah,
much.
okay.
Oops.
Okay. But again, fond farewell to Hugh Hefner.
Uh,
Okay. Next is the movie trailer showdown. We have four trailers that came out this that were cool. Four trailers enter. Only one of these folks. We have begin with The Gifted. This is it's actually the first 6 minutes of this actual series that was shown online, so you can catch it now. I think the first episode is coming out on Monday, if I'm not mistaken. And so you can see the full. This is actually this 6 minutes of here is more exciting and more interesting than the entire hour and a half of the Inhumans. I kid you not, this was much more entertaining, and it made a heck of a lot more sense and had fewer plot holes. I mean, it still had issues, but like it was cool, and they showed more powers in these 6 minutes than the entire hour and a half of the Inhumans. Plus, they used the M word.
oh, I was going to say
Because
what?
it's on Fox. Because it's on
No, which
Fox.
word?
Yeah.
That was the thing that I loved about the X-Men characters, especially being the mutants, because it became a weird society thing where you're literally hunting down people,
Mhm.
almost like the equivalent to like uh, Germans hunting down the Jewish people.
Right. They're the in the Inhumans and in this that theme is the same in that the beginning of Humans starts with like government black op agents hunting down an Inhuman Hawaii.
Mhm.
And this is the same thing that's done here, only it's by the police because it's more accepted. And so this one I think does it better as well as far as like the hunt for mutants goes.
Oh yeah,
It's kind of it's a very interesting much for where they're placing it in the timeline of like the X Men universe.
Mhm.
But they're still going with the classic of human mutants are hunted by the government agencies of all kinds.
Oh, man, I'm
It's like
just watching this couple minute or so, and I'm already hooked. I want to see
yeah,
where it's going.
absolutely. So there's one. Have you not seen this yet?
No, honestly,
Okay,
I haven't
there you
seen
go.
it. I was
Okay,
waiting for because I just saw like those basic uh, trailer preview commercial ones, but I was like, all right,
no,
see
no.
where they're
This is
going.
like the first 6 minutes are really well done. Next one is Annihilation. This one is a very much creepy sci-fi trailer. Have you seen this? Did you watch this?
I don't remember if I did.
So have you not watched any of these?
No, I'm just trying
Okay,
to remember because
just making
I've
sure.
going through some stuff, especially working my nights. It throws me off. But like, why am I seeing
No, no. This is basically what happens when we come in contact with an actual full-on alien civilization that has no basis potentially commonalities with humanity. Because remember, we all of our science fiction conceptualizations of what aliens are going to be are kind of based on the fact that they're going to be something like us. They're going to have carbon-based life forms. They're going to maybe have two legs, two arms, something whatever the case is. And the reality is that the universe is so expansive that we have no idea what an actual alien species who evolves on an entirely different ecosystem and a planet that may be absolutely like ours would actually be like and how we would communicate with them. This is kind of touched on like some other alien films, and this is just another one of them. And this one kind of goes the extra stuff where like these aliens are just so different that we may not be able to actually speak with them, and just talking with them may be harmful to us. You know what I mean? Psychologically, biologically, whatever the case is. And that's what a lot of these little things are. So this is almost a psychological alien communication thriller, apparently. So that's what this is. Yeah. And so that's number two. Next one is Thor Ragnarok, the international trailer. Um,
it's expanded. I know that when I saw it, there's more and more, which is both pros and cons. Is like you want to see it, you want to see the whole movie, period, but you also want to like pace yourself and like show me too much, but I really want to see what's going to happen next.
yeah, that's kind of what this is. And so there we go. It's like I said, you get a few new little clips there, but it's basically the same trailer with not much more information.
My thing I was tripped out is okay, we know he gets his haircut.
Yep.
It's given. I just I want to to know, like, do they just chop it off with a blade? 'Cause somehow, even if they chopped it off, they had like supercuts or really good
We
stylists
figured
there.
you'd use that hair. I think maybe this is what they do in comics. Like they use that hair in some other parts of Thor to create robotic cyber Thor. Like they
Oh yeah,
cloned him from that DNA, that Asgardian DNA, and then like set like cybernetic pieces to control him. So that might be something cool to use later on.
voodoo doll.
And this is the last one, Tokyo Ghoul. Did you watch this one?
I haven't seen that. I think I seen the
You saw
animation.
none of them except for Thor.
I see what I like.
You've seen them now, so you can actually make
Yeah.
a judgment. But this is definitely
This is from the obviously this is live action, but
this
it
is
was
based
based
on
from
the
the anime.
Which take that gore and kind of remove it a step from you. So it's like you're not as creeped out by the gore and the blood from the animated film and the anime and the manga. Like it seems less horrorish, um, even though what's here and what's actually in the anime and manga are basically the same. It's just that because it's live action, it feels more horrific than it does on as like a cartoon, whereas an anime film. So just watching this, I was like, oh my, I'm not sure I could take watching this because I'm not really into horror films.
Well, definitely looks better than Death Note.
No, yeah, it definitely it sticks to the premise of like, oh, this is what ghouls would be like eating humans, and it definitely presents it more as a horror film than anything else. I'm like, oh my, this is.
Oh dear.
I don't know if I can watch this. The action might be worth it. I don't know, but the horror stuff is definitely gory, fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah, I see it. You know, depending on what you've been exposed to. Seeing, it's like okay, so
Like
this
if
is what we're
they're
doing.
definitely not doing a horror for horror's sake. It's definitely part of the whole line of like, oh, this is a different species. Basically, this is how they survive by eating the people. The humans aren't on top of the food chain anymore. Uh, so yeah.
No, it's cool. I would definitely check it out.
So there you go.
I'm one of those that are very open minded. Makes me wonder like how soon before they do like a live action Parasite, movie or
I
show.
think that one would be more palatable because even though there was the one just killing and murder, it is they're not feeding on humans. Like
Yeah.
they're exploding human parts, of course, but I mean, this is actually seeing people or people who look like people eat people.
Yeah.
So yeah. So of the four, which one do you think is best?
I'm gonna. This one's actually a tie up. Okay. No Annihilation.
Okay, so that
Curiosity for Tokyo Ghoul. I know I'm gonna watch Ragnarok, and Gifted. That got my attention.
yeah, I'm gonna go Gifted as well. Gifted was definitely my favorite because I saw the full 6 minutes, and it's engaging and it's interesting even within those first 6 minutes. And I liked it more than the humans a lot. So I'm gonna say Gifted is my winner. Tokyo Ghoul came in second for me just because I like the anime, but I'm
Yeah.
not sure if I'm actually gonna watch this thing because it's
Don't eat steak.
super horror, gory, and that's usually not the kind of stuff that I watch generally. So, but Annihilation was like as a scientific premise, it's based on a book.
Yeah.
I probably more likely read the book. And I've seen the Ragnar, so yeah, Gifted wins for me too. So there you go.
Because the main thing is
Yay!
the X logo for the dotted eye is what's making me wonder. Like, okay,
Yeah, no,
how are they going to tie it in? How's
it's
they going to
definitely
tie it in?
it's definitely X-Men related. You
Yeah.
see that being the case. So yeah, I'm happy to see something related to the X-Men that doesn't necessarily suck.
Yeah.
So there you go. Okay, then that's it for the show, folks. Thank you for hanging out, for watching with us. If you want to support the podcast in any way, shape, or form, you can do so at
geekbytespodcast.com/support.
there we go. Again, thanks for listening and watching, ladies and gentlemen, for Geek Bytes Podcast. I am Ramon Mejia.
I'm Edgardo Acosta.
I remember folks to geek out about something. We'll see you later. Nope, wrong one. That's the wrong one. Stop it. Stop it. Okay. There you go.
It's the right one. Mm-hmm.